All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Quicktip Tuesdays. My name is Leah Heidler, and I am excited that you're here with us today. We're going to be looking at QuickBooks Desktop today. In the past, we've been working in QuickBooks Online, so I'm excited to jump back into QuickBooks Desktop, old faithful that I am way used to and love. And so I'm excited to bring you, we're going to talk today about reports and how to group reports, memorize reports, customize them. I cannot stress enough how important reports are. You can put stuff into QuickBooks all day long, but what good is it to you if you can't pull it back out in the form of a report that will help you as a business owner or whatever you're using QuickBooks for? It will definitely be able to give you the numbers that you're needing to be more efficient in your business and more profitable. All right, before we really jump in, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're going to be doing a more extensive, a little bit more in-depth training coming up next week, November 18th and 19th. So those webinar series are just in the morning, and it's going to be on QuickBooks Desktop as well. So it's the QuickBooks Desktop Foundations training. So make sure to jump to caseypeterson.com and get registered for that coming up next week. All right, so let's get into reporting. So today I'm just working in a sample QuickBooks file, and you can see over here I've got my toolbar on the left. I like to hit this open windows, another just little bonus tip for you there, so that I can see, as you see today, I'm going to have several windows open at the same time, and I like to be able to flip back and forth between them, especially when I'm dealing with reports, because so many reports are not just standalone, they're best when looked at with another report in QuickBooks. And so I can flip back and forth between the reports that I have open right from there. All right, I'm going to go to my reports drop-down menu list here. And from here, I can get to so many reports. There's these headings right here, but then there's sub reports in within here. But if I go over here to my report center, which was way at the top, you'll see that I've got all these same headings over here on the left that I had up here when I clicked my drop-down menu. So I've got my company and financial, that's where I find my balance sheet and my profit and loss. And then I've got customers and receivables, all the same as you'll see over here on the left through my report center. So I encourage you to just keep your report center open, and see here I've already got things that I can flip back and forth between on the left-hand side here. So let's just start. Let's say in my business, I like to look at reports on a monthly basis, whether I'm reporting to somebody higher up as the bookkeeper, or I'm the owner just wanting to be able to generate some reports out of QuickBooks so that I can see how my last month went. So the first report I'm going to run is a profit and loss. So I'm just going to hit run from here. Or you can always come up to reports, company and financial, and then profit and loss standard. That's a pretty standard report that I like to look at. And this report is going to be from a point in time to another point in time. So it's a period report to where it's showing me numbers for a period of time. And so I like to, when I customize this report, because I'm going to be saving it to a group, I like to hit this drop-down menu and change it here rather than manually entering in the dates that I want here. And the reason for that is next month and the month after that, when I go and pull up this same report, if I have it saved as month to date report or last month to date or just last month, that's what we're going to do today, last month, then the next time QuickBooks knows what day it is. So in this sample file, we're working in the future here, but the next time and the next month after that, it's going to pull up the report for the month that I'm actually looking for if I just select that last month. Rather than if I save this report with particular dates right in here, it will save it with those custom dates right in this section here, rather than keeping it up to date with what month it is. So just an easier thing for you, so you don't have to go customize these reports every time you go to pull them. Use this dates drop-down menu here. Okay, so I'm going to do last month. Make sure you're on the correct reporting basis, whether it's accrual or cash, and your accountant can tell you which basis to be pulling these on. And then I can always go over here to custom report, customize this report. So then I can do previous period, and then that will show me the month before that in another column. Lots of different things you can filter there. This customized reports is a great way to get get lots of things about this report exactly how you want it. Lots of different options in here. You can see up top, you've got filters. If you use classes, you can filter this profit and loss only by a certain class, or multiple classes if you only want to see certain classes in each columns. And then I can change my header, my footer, my fonts, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so now you can see I've got the last month. So in this particular sample file, we are now in December of 2024. So it's going to show me the month before that. And then since I hit that previous period, it's also going to show me the month before that. So I can kind of see how things are progressing in my company. And then this profit and loss is going to show me all the income, less the cost of goods sold, less all my expenses, and then it will show me my net income here at the bottom. If I want to see a report showing me throughout the whole year to date, and then have this report tell me how my business is doing for the whole year for each month, I can do that as well. You can make these show columns by different things. It doesn't just have to be the totals. So let's just try that. I want to just show you real quick. If we go 01/01/24, so if we were going to save this, we would probably want this to say the year to date or prior month year to date, things like that. And then we can show the columns by month. So this way we can look at a report that tells me my net profit throughout the year so far. So we can see we started off with some losses, continued on with losses. So we're really not picking up until later on in the year. October and November were better months than the previous months before that. So good. And if I was doing this, I would also want to uncheck the previous period box here so that it's a little bit more clear to see how the months are going. So then you can see that August was not a great month, September even worse, but then October and November it picked up. So you can kind of see a trend for how your business is going. Okay, so that was just a little side tip there, how to see a monthly report, how your business is doing throughout the year based on the months. All right, so let's go back to last month and let's make that show columns by total again. And then the previous period, we're going to check that. All right, so now we're going to save this report. But before we do that, I want to show you how to go in and actually make a group. So I want a group so that I can pull reports each month, all the reports that I like to see every month, and then I can just print them all. Just say, print this whole group of reports, and I'll just print them all to my printer. So I went to reports, and then memorize reports, and then memorize report list. So these are all my groups that QuickBooks automatically sets up for you. But I want to set up a new group. So I'm going to call this group monthly reports. And then hit OK. All right, so I've got a new group sitting in here. So like I said, I've got my open windows list so I can flip back between the report that I'm looking at. And now I can memorize this profit and loss. And I can do that by coming up here to the top and just hitting this memorize button. And then I can name it. So I'm going to call it profit and loss last month. And then I'm going to save it in the report group called monthly reports that I just created. And then hit OK. And then it makes it sound like it's taking a picture of this report because everything I saved about this report is now memorized to be pulled later. All right, so now we've got our first report sitting in our group, all ready to go for even next month and the next month after that we pull it. So let's go back over our report center. And now a nice report that goes well with a profit and loss is the balance sheet, because the profit and loss doesn't tell us what we have on hand, what assets we have, what debt we have. Those are not things that are included in a profit and loss. So I want to include now a balance sheet. So if I scroll down a little bit, here's the balance sheet standard, or you can find it up under reports, company and financial, and then balance sheet standard. So a balance sheet is as of a point in time. So since the beginning of your QuickBooks through whatever date is up here, that's what this report is going to show. Everything accumulatively that's in this file. It's a cumulative balance as of this day. So this is all of our assets that we own, including our cash, our savings account, all of our accounts, any money that people owe us. If you're on the accrual basis, it's going to have accounts receivable on it. And if I scroll down a little bit, this is all of the debt that's sitting out there, including the bills that are yet to be paid, credit card bills, payroll liabilities that I've taken payroll taxes out of my employees' paychecks and just need to pay it back into the IRS or the state, and then all of the debt. And then at the bottom is my equity section. So this is a nice report to look at, and I am going to customize it. And I'm going to change it to last month as well, so that it's on the same, it's going to be very tied to this profit and loss that I'm looking at. I can look at them in conjunction of each other so that the ending date of my balance sheet is the same as the ending date of my profit and loss. And I could do previous period here if I'd like to see what's changed, so I can kind of see what my checking account holds last month compared to this month, to kind of see my cash flow there, see how much cash has gone up or down, and see if I've bought in any assets. Because if I purchase an asset like a piece of an equipment, that's not going to show up on my profit and loss, but it would show up on the balance sheet. And I could see that right from here if I had that previous period selected in this column right before my current month. So this would tell me, if I see here that inventory went up, then I know that I purchased inventory. If this original purchase amount, this fixed asset for this truck here went up, then I would know that I purchased a truck. Okay, so we've got it customized how we like to see it. We made it so that the dates are specific here, not just entering in a date manually. And so then we're going to hit memorize. And it's going to ask us what we want to call it. So we want to call it balance sheet as of last month. And then we're going to save it in a report group, and we're going to put it in our monthly reports. And then hit OK. So then it takes a picture of my profit and loss, so that everything that I saved about it is now saved in my report group. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my list. So then every time at the end of the month, when you know all your reconciliations are done, everything is good in the file, you've made any adjustments that you need to make, you've tied out everything and reconcile your checking account and your savings account and any credit cards, then it's time to come in here and pull your report group. So if I go up to my reports and my memorized reports, and then memorized report list, then I can go to my monthly reports group that I created. So from here, I'm just going to right click this, and I'm going to process the group. So when I process this group, I can either just print it right from here. Really slick, I could just hit print, and every report that's in this group that I've saved in here will just go directly to my printer. I can then submit it to the owner if I'm the bookkeeper, or a partner if I'm another, a co-partner in a business, or a board if it's a nonprofit. If you need to submit this to a board, you can do it right like this, super slick. You can even email the report directly out of QuickBooks to all the people that need to see these reports. Or you can just hit display, and then the reports that I saved will show up right on your screen. And like I said, I've got my open windows list open over here on the left, so I can flip back and forth between these reports that I have just opened. All right, so that's my reporting tip for you today. Make sure you're looking at these reports, and that is how to go in and customize your report. Look at my report center to see all of my report options that I have available, and then create groups, save your reports to the group, and then process the group by either displaying them or printing them directly out of QuickBooks. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Appreciate your time. Hope you learned a little something on our Quicktip Tuesdays. Thanks guys. Join us again next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock.